I responded to the collision, and when I got there, I found a vehicle on the side of the road. I couldn't actually see the accident, the vehicle that was involved, and I contacted the witnesses who had called it in, and then they pointed to me down a ravine or drainage area where the vehicle was, and then that's when I was able to see, I could hear the screaming and the flickering of a small flame. I could hear them screaming and everything, so I started running. Once I got the fire extinguisher, I ran down into the creek bed where the truck was. I could see there was one person. He was standing outside of the car, and he was just standing next to the vehicle, and I could see he was bloody and injured, but was standing there looking at. And the driver was screaming and moaning, and he was trying to climb out of the vehicle himself. And then I could hear another person inside the vehicle, but I wasn't able to see her. So I threw the fire extinguisher down on the ground, and I started pulling on the driver, who was trying to get himself out. At that point, I still couldn't see the other passenger. I could just hear her moaning and screaming. So I was tugging on him for a while, and his foot was wedged on the dashboard area, and I couldn't get him loose. I was pulling and tugging, and at that point, the female unbuckled herself and was able to kind of go where I could see her, where the center console is. And then that's when I made the decision that I was gonna pull her out over him, and the flames were getting a lot bigger. I mean, it was starting to really take over the engine compartment. So I grabbed her and drug her out over the driver. So I went back to the driver after I pulled her out, began tugging on him again. I was grabbing his waistline, his belt, and pulling on him, and finally he was able to get out. So the heat, I mean, at that point was just overwhelming. So the driver was able to crawl himself through the creek bed, and I was dragging her through the creek, just trying to get away from the fire, and it started catching the hillside and the trees, or the tree on fire that it was underneath. Well, this was definitely one of the once-in-a-career moments, or at least I hope that I don't have to come across this again. But it was definitely very intense, and it was gratifying at the same time. That once we were waiting for the sirens is when it realized to me what had just happened, and how dangerous it was. I didn't think about the danger. I was just trying to act before, it wasn't until after we were out that I realized the danger that we were all in. Besides, obviously trying to get them from the car before it caught on fire or while it was burning.